Lord of the Mysteries 22 Pathways Ability Introduction. Today we are looking at the Arbiter pathway which controls order in the world of the book. This pathway is also known as the Justiciar pathway. This pathway belongs to the Spherote nation of disorder. Sequence 9 Arbiter. At this sequence you will gain charisma and an intimidating aura. Your combat abilities will also be top-notch. If you ever meet a thug doing something bad on the streets, try to talk to them, and if that doesn't work, just knock them out. Sequence 8 Sheriff. At this sequence you will have photographic memory of people you have seen before. You will also gain powerful investigation abilities, being able to notice unnatural factors or minor clues. These abilities will be further enhanced if you are in the area of jurisdiction you have set, and the more familiar you are with your jurisdiction the bigger the enhancement. Sequence 7 Interrogator. You will gain 2 attacks which directly target a person's spirit body, which is very powerful in the low to mid sequences. One is Psychic Piercing, which causes mental pain, putting your target into a daze, and the other is Whip of Pain. The target will feel like they were being lashed by an electrified whip. Sequence 6 Judge. Starting from this sequence the Arbiter pathway will gain the ability to set rules, creating rules that will benefit you. You can use any magical language to issue commands and punishments, which includes imprison, release, whip, death, confinement, exile and prohibition to weaken enemies and buff yourself. Because as a judge no matter the verdict it will always be carried out by force. Sequence 5 Disciplinary Paladin. This sequence will enhance your judge abilities. You will also gain the ability of discipline. You can set a disciplinary target and all your attacks directed at that target will be enhanced. You can also prohibit one of your opponent's beyonder abilities or actions. If they violate the prohibition you will be buffed. A similar ability is declaring an action or ability as guilty, which debuffs your opponents. The difference between prohibition and declaring guilt is one causes all your attacks to be like critical hits, the other causes all kinds of debuffs depending on what verdict they broke. From translator, this part may sound confusing because I'm confused too. The wiki is missing a lot of stuff about this sequence, so I can only use the direct translation for some of the ability names that weren't on the wiki. Sequence 4 Imperative Mage. This sequence will enhance your previous abilities. Not only will you be able to declare verdicts and punishments. Your word would be law. Your core abilities include deprivation, execute and restriction. Execute is like an AoE version of the verdict death. Even other demigods have to escape the AoE to escape the damage. Laws are a bit abstract, like weaken mysticism, enhance reality. This ability will greatly weaken mystical powers, while enhancing physical weapons like firearms. Giving armies a chance when fighting beyonders. As for Sequence 3 Chaos Hunter, Sequence 2 Balancer, and Sequence 1 Hand of Order, the book didn't really talk about these sequences, so we'll have to wait for the Circle of Inevitability for more information. But we know if you advance to Sequence 0 Justiciar you will be able to manipulate the laws of the world to a degree, which is like the settings of Lord of the Mysteries. From translator, definitely one of the hardest translations. English has such a restrictive vocabulary. Some of the official translations are bad only because if they didn't use non-direct translation some abilities will share names.